we at? We took a break for the holiday, but we are back, and it feels like we haven't been in here in a minute doing the podcast. But we're here, and we're just gonna have a good show today.
How you doing, Lady Shireen? This is BC in the place to be.
BC, I am doing good today. Mondays is always rough, but it's a good Monday.
Yeah, it is a good Monday. I told you before we came on air that I was going to talk a little bit about my boy that just passed away.
Yes.
So bring me that, and I'll help you out there. But so I want to just give a shout out to my boy Winky, who just passed away last week.
Sorry to hear that.
And actually, I went to his funeral last Friday, and basically we had an opportunity to put him away. His family did a good job, and sometimes when you lose somebody that's dear to you, it's kind of hard that you mourn the death of someone leaving you, but you also are grieving the loss.
Right, absolutely.
And sometimes it's kind of hard to deal with the loss of someone that's dear to you. And I just wanted to take maybe a 15-second pause of silence as we remember him as he was on this earth. Winky, also known as Albert Hendricks, that was my boy. He always said I was a good friend of him of his, and I'm really gonna miss him. So 15 seconds of silence, please. All right, Winky, rest in peace. So, Lady Shireen, we actually we were supposed to have some guests come in tonight, but they didn't actually appear. So we decided that we were going to do what we do best.
Absolutely, and that's do what we do on the podcast. We're going to talk about education,
entertainment,
empowerment,
and enlightenment.
That's it.
Yeah.
So we're here before you today.
Yeah, one of the things that is actually happening to the public, everybody understands it and everybody sees it, is everything's opening back up.
Yes, everything is opening back up, but you still have to be careful.
Yeah, they got concerts and restaurants, and you can go into stores now, and the stores are kind of conflicted between whether they're going to force you to wear face masks or not. I mean, some of the places are optional. I saw an optional sign on some of the stores.
Yeah. Well, some of the places that I've actually been to, it still says, please put your mask on. So, I guess they're at liberty to do, what they feel is best to do in their establishments.
Yeah. One of the things that I noticed, they had a concert, I think it was in Florida, and nobody had on their mask. Like nobody had on their mask.
Well, I guess once they are vaccinated, I guess they feel like, hey, I'm good. So
yeah, but I think even for the people that aren't vaccinated, they feel in a certain kind of freedom because, those masks. I don't know what you think, but when you have those masks on, you definitely breathe a lot harder. It takes a lot more to get that oxygen into your system.
Yeah.
So you got to take some more breaths, and it doesn't always seem like there's a lot, but. With the world opening back up, it's time for, I guess, the economy to get flowing again.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody, was waiting for it, and
I know I've been waiting for it.
It's been over a year and it's been rough, so.
Yeah, and I mean, I know that it's not only showing up that people have been anxious to wait for it, but the businesses have been anxious to get back up to getting them cash registers to continue to ring.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's coming. People are out having a great time. This is the summertime, so people are traveling more now. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah,
I know in our local community, individuals that want to go swimming at the swimming pools, they're making them register.
Yeah. It makes sense, because then you get overcrowded, and they still don't want it, I guess, too crowded. So
I think also at the fireworks they actually had people had to register and you couldn't get out your car.
Oh wow, I didn't go, so I didn't know. Did you go?
Yeah, no, I didn't go. I took that whole weekend off. I did nothing. Actually, it was more than a weekend, right? Because we weren't here.
We were not here. No.
We were not here for the 4th of July. That was on a Monday. The 4th of July was celebrated on a Sunday.
Right.
and we elected collectively, we put our heads together, and we decided that we were going to take the day off. So we actually had like a 5-day weekend. It was a 4-day weekend for me, but in actuality for the podcast, it was like a 14 day off.
Yeah, it doesn't even, it feels like it was longer than a week, though.
Yeah, I know when I spoke with you earlier, you basically were saying, hey, Brian, it seems like we haven't been there forever. I was like, no, it's not been forever, but it seems like it's been forever.
Like it's been a long time, but we're here.
Yeah, and we really want you guys to know that we are definitely looking for other individuals to come on our podcast. We've spoken to some individuals that have scheduled some time with us, and we're anxious for them to show up. But Lady Shereen and I know that whether we have our guests here or not, we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it flowing. We're going to keep it knowing.
That's it.
So, Lady Shereen, tell the public a little bit what you've been up to for the last 13, 14 days.
I've been doing a lot, actually. Been doing a lot. Parties, whether it's video, photography. I did a wedding, did a baby shower, a proposal. Got some more stuff coming up, and of course, just been editing the things that I've been working on. So it's been a lot.
Well, you know what I did, Lady Shereen? Yeah, toward you. You know what I've been doing, Lady Shereen? I mean, it was like crazy, for the 4th of July weekend. I did 2 DJ gigs.
Oh, so you're getting back into...
Oh, Lady Shereen, I'm getting ready to turn it up. I did 2 DJ gigs, and they went pretty well, and the individuals enjoyed it. I mean, I got to build my music library, but as far as getting back behind the turntables and doing what I do...
Okay, so I rubbed off on you big time.
Oh, yeah, well, you come on. You know how we influence each other. Hey.
He said he wasn't going to do DJing no more. He was like, oh, I don't want to do photography no more. I don't want to do video. I'm like, come on, Brian. Like, really?
It just goes to show that sometimes when you put me in the flow, I got to go. So, we've been doing this for a long time. We've had a lot of individuals come on in front of our podcast. We've actually been doing a lot of things jointly together. And sometimes, when you think you don't have the inspiration, you got to be inspired by somebody. And that, to just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, I know that with this summer coming up, we have a lot of individual things that we are each doing. I mean, I'm getting ready to do a car show. I'm getting ready to do live sound. DJ, that's going to be in Edison in July on a Saturday. I think it's the 26th, and it's going to give me a chance to be back out there with all my equipment. So I mean, and I'm still doing the landscaping thing and still pushing that. And Lady Shereen, you tell me you got some things coming up. You got some weddings.
I do. Some weddings and some birthday parties. But I can't complain.
So you keeping it moving. I'm keeping it moving. And, we want to know what the world is doing out there. So what y'all doing out there now that COVID is kind of a thing that they're trying to push and open up the state and open up the country and open up the world. What are you guys doing out there? I just wondered if you want to call in, you can call us and you can let us know. If you want to hit us on Instagram. We're on Instagram right now. We're on Instagram. Thank you, Lady Shereen, and thank you, Donnie. Donnie, you put us on Instagram. What's the tag? What's the tag for Instagram? The 4E Podcast.
Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3.
The 4E Podcast. 1, 2, 3. Go up there and you can check us out on Instagram. So right now, as you can see, we're building the capital. We're building the nation. We're on Instagram. We're on
YouTube.
And we're on Wix, right?
We're on Wix, yeah.
Yeah. And Facebook. So we got 4 things that you can find us on now. Yes. Isn't that powerful, Lady Shereen?
Now, let me just interject.
Go ahead.
Facebook has been, I started a lot of things through my page.
Yeah.
But we're going to, transition over to we have a 4 East Podcast group page.
Yeah.
And I was told that we have a 4 East Podcast Facebook, just a regular page. So we're going to actually be starting to do live, eventually through that way. So we have to, get it all set up so that we could do the live through there. It's just been easier to do through mine since it was already set up. So, now that we're getting other things set up, we're going to navigate and transition over to some other areas.
And why are we doing that? Because we want you out there in the listening audience to have access to us here in the studio.
Absolutely.
And when we do that, we think that we can bring you all of those things that are interesting and engaging,
Yes.
and keeping you informed.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the big things that I think we struggle with from time to time is what are we going to do when you go on vacation or when I go on vacation? We talked about that, right?
We sure did.
Yeah.
So, either we'll have someone else,
Yeah.
to join in, or we just put a rewind on and,
Yeah.
we just won't.
Yeah. So what episode is this actually, Lady Shireen? I know you keep a better tab on
I
it.
try to. I believe
I'm
this
just running.
I don't know, 15th or 16th. It's one of those.
It's the what one? Yeah, it's the 15th podcast coming to you live now. I mean, so
Yes.
that
we
means
had a good time with Amber. She
Oh.
was our last one before
Yeah.
our break. And,
listen.
she told us some good
I
stuff.
thoroughly enjoyed Amber.
Yeah.
She came in and she dropped some knowledge on us.
Yeah.
That I didn't know.
Exactly. A lot of stuff that a lot of people don't know. If you're not working behind the scenes on a film set or a TV set,
Yeah,
for the show.
and she's a dynamic individual. She has a lot of power. She's doing
Yeah.
a lot of different things. She's now, I think, at a point in her career where she's being pulled in different directions, and she's going to have to choose and pick between which set she's going to be on.
Absolutely,
And that's a
yeah.
good thing to have, when you
Yeah.
got a lot of people wanting you and
Yeah.
asking you to show up.
Yep, this
So-
is true.
So, so she came on. Obviously, you want to go back in time a little bit and talk about who else we had on the show?
Sure. We had my aunt, Mary McDonald Swindell, and her husband, Lonnie Swindell.
And that was when we were at
Arugas. Yeah,
Arugas.
we was at
And,
Arugas,
Yeah.
and we had a great time there.
and there were a lot. That was our second, but that was really, for all intents and purposes, one of our larger live audiences.
Right, we
And
had
we're
a
going to
lot
try to
of-
bring that to you guys too.
Yeah, we did. It was
Yeah.
awesome, to actually see people sitting out in the audience,
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
And we were able to have the audience ask questions.
Yes.
And they were able to answer those questions, and it was really just a family gathering. It was a good opportunity
It sure
to get
was.
people to come out and sit
Yeah.
with us. I know a lot of the individuals that came out that were in the audience actually followed them, and actually she was an author. She is an author.
She is
She's
an
a two-time author.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Her book just came out called From Craze to Christ.
Yeah.
And so, if you
Want
would
it.
like to get that book, you can contact her, you can contact me, or you could go to her website, which is crazetochrist.com.
And how can they get in contact with you? Through Purple Sky Production?
Yeah, you can get touch with me if you're on Facebook. You could just go to Shireen Pitt.
Okay.
If you need to email me, it is Shireen, M as in Mary, CLK @gmail.com. Or you can go to her website, which is crazetochrist.com.
Yeah. In addition to that, you are an author. So is
I
it
am
is
an
is that second book in the writing? Is it on the desk? Is it being thought of? I mean, I know I keep telling you I'm writing a book.
Right.
I haven't gotten back to it, but go ahead, talk to me about
Well,
that.
it actually been thought of.
Okay.
I have not started the writing on that because I'm actually writing some other stuff. I'm working on a feature film actually for Craze to Christ.
Okay.
It's actually called From Craze to Christ.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'm trying to finish that up, and I'm actually sending it off to someone else, who can critique it and make sure, I am in the right direction and stuff like that. Always, when you're screenwriting or you're writing a book, you always got to pass it off to someone else so that they can, check it, read it, and, just give you that green light. So that's what I'm about to do.
Yeah.
Some great people is in the ranks to actually get it and read it.
Good.
So I'm excited about that. So, but yeah, the book, I haven't got a chance to it. And I'm actually writing another feature and a TV series, or we're not sure if it's going to be a web series.
Okay,
with, my
but
short film.
you do have a short film that is already has been out there and has been viewed, and I think you were
Yes.
at the film festival.
Yeah, we was. I was actually at a couple of them.
Okay.
Newark Film Festival, the one that's in Plainfield, which is called Queen City Film
Okay.
Festival, and it was screened in Union and I can't think of the other place. I can't think of it.
That's
but
all
yes,
right.
I've been screened a couple of places. I got a lot of good reviews on it. And so, yeah, it's good.
Well, listen, you're plugging away and
Yeah,
you're making
absolutely.
things happen, and that's what this is all about. I mean, this journey with you and I started a long time ago,
Yes.
but it definitely just continues to blossom and continues. You know what they say: you pour enough water, you put enough fertilizer on any plant, it's going to
right.
grow.
It's gonna grow.
So we've been feeding this podcast for a long time. I mean, it's been over a year
It's
that
been
this
over a year.
podcast even was a vision.
Exactly. Actually, I think, you know what, to be honest, I think
Yeah.
it's a little longer.
Yeah.
Because we actually talked about it in 2019.
Right.
know.
I think it was right after the winter, because in the winter I wasn't talking no podcast. I know that because it was just too crazy of a winter.
I don't-
So it was right in the probably
It was somewhere.
probably
You
in the early
mentioned it,
spring.
but we didn't do anything about it. You was like, hey, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. I want you to help me. I said, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, this podcast is now. Like I said, we're in our 15th episode, but I always tell Lady Shireen we had an episode that we didn't air. That's in the deep archives. And one day, when we decide maybe 10 years from now we're going to do a bloopers or something like that, we'll pull that out of the can and show that. But we've had other episodes that we did that we didn't broadcast as a episode.
Right.
Or other podcasts that we didn't broadcast as an episode, but were like buried in an episode. So, one of our former individuals that was on the show was DJ Coolvy.
Yes, DJ Cool V. I enjoyed him. It was good meeting with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he really gave us the idea that we should think about segmenting our episodes,
Right.
and we're working on that. But I'm telling you, when you're doing live and
Yeah.
you're coming in every Monday, and then you got your life after podcast,
Right.
it's really hard to sit
crazy.
back in the editing room.
Right, because you have to edit it.
Because
So,
and
I'm
you know
trying to
you
get
know who's been doing the editing,
this
Lady
one
Shireen.
to do some editing.
Yeah.
But he's coming along. He's
Yeah.
he got the software at least. So
Yeah,
that's a step.
And we talked about that in one of our podcasts. We
Yes.
talked about equipment. We talked about editing software.
That's right.
We talked about what it means really to get started and what it takes.
Yes.
We talked about in another episode the business side of being in business.
Right, exactly, which is a lot. But
It's really a lot.
Yeah.
We talked about being able to tap into some chapters of your local or small business SBA associations,
no, this is true.
so that
we
you
talked
can
about
learn
that.
how to do different things, because we can bring you our knowledge, but the small business associations definitely throughout Union County, Essex County, Somerset
Yeah, they have a
County,
lot of
Mercer County,
information.
whatever.
And they will help you, for the most part for free. There may be some things that, you get charged, like if there's like a specific class or whatever like that. But a lot of it, they will help you for free to
Yeah.
get it started, and counseling and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and those things are important to know, because what I find today is that one thing that is very prevalent in the people that we talk to is entrepreneurship.
Right. Yeah.
That people aren't looking just for the 9 to 5 anymore.
Not
They're
at
looking
all.
for the 9 to 5
Yes.
plus the entrepreneurship. And in order to be righteous, in order for you to be on the right side of things, you really need to think about formulating your business.
Yeah, I was talking to my aunt about,
Yeah.
for her book, and I'm like, is that something you want to do to formulate the business? Sometimes actually you should, because it just gives you more, leeway to do different things, and, you're selling a book, so, and then you can, monetize other things, whether it's putting your name on a T-shirt or, some of the things that you want to do. That title, you have that title, so
Yeah.
you could do a lot with it. So.
And that's one of the things that we struggled with our name. Did we want this? Did we want that? I mean, we went through so many different things, and we landed where we landed. But believe me, name recognition. You want something that's catchy, something
Right.
that's going to be rememberable,
Exactly.
and something that people can
Something that
cling
pops,
to.
something people like, oh, that's a nice name.
Yeah, but if you don't do that, then you know you're gonna struggle with that, and
That's true.
you
The
know
everything, the logo.
the logo,
We still
and we fighting with that. We fighting with that, Lady Shreen. You know we are.
we're not fighting,
Yeah.
but
We're
Brian,
tussling with it.
know,
Better word.
trying
We're
to figure out which one.
is more appropriate for what
Right.
we want it to do, as it symbolizes what we are about.
Right. So I know I sent you some information. I don't know if you looked at it for, the logo that you're looking for to have everything that you want on it. So,
Yeah. Because see, the diversity that Shereen and I have amongst all of the talents that we have, we kind of want our podcast to capture that. But that's a struggle because we do so much. I mean, you can't put a lawnmower with a camera. It just doesn't go, But even inside of the whole audio video thing that we do
Right.
collectively as
Right.
as individuals, and that we do jointly as we do business, that's hard to capture all that.
Yeah. And me, I'm like, Brian, however you want to do it, it's fine with me.
Yeah,
So,
you've
know,
been
he's
real
still trying to figure it
amenable
out.
to that. You have. We just got to figure it out. But why are we even going down this road is because there's a lot to really be considered when you
Right,
think
it's true.
about what you want to do.
Yeah.
So it's something that you got to ponder, and it's not something that you just jump right into.
Right.
And I'm telling you, some of the decisions are going to be easy, and they're going to come to you like lightning.
Right.
Real easy.
But you know what? I realized too, as you start, you may start off with one thing, but as you evolve, you change. Because I changed my logo and I haven't released it yet, but I changed my logo for
Wow.
Purple Sky Production. I just changed it maybe a couple of weeks ago, but again, I haven't released it. I haven't showed it yet. I'm waiting to do something so that I can actually show all of the things that I do, so that when you see it, you recognize and say, "Oh, that's Shereen. That's her stuff."
Yeah, and
So,
I would struggle with that.
Yeah,
I mean, because I have two
And you
businesses. I have two businesses.
Yeah.
I would struggle with that. I mean, each one of those businesses really are generically centered around the things that I do. So I would have to
Right.
figure that out.
And it actually is hard. You're right, because when I first started, it was Purple Sky Productions, which it's video and photography. And the thing about it is I had it all at one. And then I'm like, you know what? Because I also do filmmaking. So I'm like, okay, that's a lot. And then I have my book. So amongst other things that I do. So I'm like, okay, I might want to separate a little bit. So that's how I came up with Shereen Malika Photography. That's the photography side of it. And then the video and the filmmaking side would be the Purple Sky Productions, and so it was kind of hard I'm like, okay, should I do this? What should I do?
All right.
You know.
So were you able to, waiting for my switcher to get right, there you go. Were you able, when you sat down and you figured out, were you able to capture the essence of all of that and bring it into one logo?
You mean one? No. Mm-mm.
You're
No,
not?
not at first. No.
Not at first.
Nope. So that's why I was like, no. And then the logo that I have, shout out to Derek Green. Thank you.
Derek Green.
Did my logo for the first one, but
Okay.
like I said, as I evolved, because I changed changed up a little bit with everything, and I kind of split the two, to have two separate, but
Wow.
Shereen Malika Photography is under Purple Sky Production, and
So-
that's how it's set up. So,
In the web page, when the logo presents itself, is there going to be two logos? One for Purple Sky and one
well,
for...
yeah, it actually is two different logos, but I
Okay.
actually have two different websites.
Oh, you have two different
Yeah,
websites.
so I'm still working on the Shereen Malika Photography website. Is pretty much done, but the Purple Sky Productions, it's going to get a whole new makeover because it's going to be nothing but video. And right now it has video and photography, but it's going to be all video. So a lot of stuff that I've done is going to go on there. So that one is still under construction.
And this has been 2 years, 3 years in the process of creating this and getting to the logo and coming up with the web page and all the rest of that stuff. I mean, it's ongoing. It's under construction. It's consistent evolution.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I started the business 2019.
Wow.
After freelancing. I mean, I've been freelancing for a while. I started, when I picked up my camera and started, it was 2013.
Wow.
So, yeah, but all of this has been, in my mind, because I come from a family of entrepreneurs and, business owners. Like, it's all in my blood. It's all in there. My family, especially my dad's side, that's all they do. My dad, he has several businesses when I was growing up. My aunt, she was a realtor. My cousin, he's a realtor.
Okay.
And they're painters. There are construction work. So, like, he's been doing it for long. My mother had her own beauty salon.
Wow.
When I was younger, my dad had a little store. So it's all in me. It's all in me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The reality, if I could just shift gears a little bit, and I get my switcher to come over here with me, come on down. So, back in the day, my father was an entrepreneur, and he probably more of a hustler in reference to the things that he did, meaning that I don't know if he actually went out and got the tax ID and all the rest of that stuff.
Right, gotcha.
But he always worked very hard on doing things. My father worked 2 jobs. In addition to working 2 jobs, he cleaned windows on weekends. He cleaned the church after services on Sunday. So he always did something to bring in another means of income other than just working the 9 to 5, or in his case, he worked the early morning shift at Ford Motor Company. Then he went and worked up for Bell Labs, and then he came home and, and one thing I always said to myself is that I'm never, ever going to work that hard.
Wow.
I'm never going to work 12-hour, 14-hour days. And now, Lady Shreen, guess what I'm doing?
You're doing the same
but to a certain extent, I have a little bit more freedom because all of my businesses are driven by what I want to do.
Exactly.
And I mean, it's not like I got to go punch a clock. Even though I'm punching a clock, I'm not punching a clock. Similar to what you do, switchers should be switching right about now.
And that's what I love.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's been in me since I was younger. I knew that, I wanted to have my own business, and I did not want to work for someone for the rest or for my whole life. I did not want to do that.
Well, I worked for somebody for a long period of time, and I realized that one day I was like, yo, this is crazy. And when you in business and you start to think about the money you made working for somebody, and then you're on the other side and you start making money for yourself, and you say, why didn't I get this bug earlier? So I'm actually, I think one of the things that we should definitely do on the podcast, and what we should do as adults, is strongly recommend to young folks to find a lane of entrepreneurship, like your son.
Yes.
He's actually started his own clothing line.
He did. And I have been plugging at them since they were, I don't even remember what age, but I used to tell them, I'm like, at 10 years old, you can start a business. I got them entrepreneur book or whatever. I don't know if they've read it, but anyway,
okay.
I like I said, it's in my blood because, my family, they had their own businesses, and my dad, I guess I can say he was a hustler too. Yeah. He does a lot, and I definitely get that honestly.
I really probably, I'm working right around the corner from your house, and I never even thought about your father. I need for him to help me with this project. I got a nice project going on right around the corner.
Yeah, ask him.
Putting a deck on, and I'll be able to hook him up and put some money in his pocket, and he can actually teach me something. I didn't even, would you just say that? Because I have a lot of people that say they coming, but they don't show up.
Okay.
I mean,
definitely. He's been doing this, since he was maybe a teenager.
Wow.
Yeah, he's been doing it for a long time because, again, like I said, my family,
it's in your blood.
It's in there. That's what they do. And my aunt, she has passed away.
Rest her soul.
On my father's sister, thank you. Her husband was in it too. So, he learned from other people, but, he's been doing it since he was, and I think I said a teenager. It might have been maybe 10 or 11 that he started.
Well,
it's been a long time.
The way that things work in our universe is just crazy, because just the other day you were out to dinner with your sister, which I just, sometimes I get, with your family, I just get, because everybody's so young. It's like, is that your sister, or is that your daughter? Is that your daughter? Is that your sister? Because they're all in around the same age bracket, and to me sometimes it just,
Or see,
I
think what it is too is, again, I guess God just blessed us.
Yes, he
on
has.
both
He
sides.
has. Yes, he has. He has.
No one literally looks like their age. So I
Right.
think that's what it is.
Yeah.
No one, a lot of people think me and my mom are sisters,
Get the heck out of here.
No, I'm
Are you serious?
I'm dead sister. They're like, oh,
Donnie,
you're my sister.
Danny, have you ever experienced them being out together and people be like, "That's your sister? She looks so good," huh? You haven't. Okay, you haven't been out with them socially.
No,
Okay,
not like that.
Okay, well,
he's been out with us, but not like that.
Okay.
But no, seriously, a lot of people are like, oh,
your family is very,
know.
very young looking.
They
Everybody
are.
in
They
your
really
family,
are,
you
so.
know. And when you told me that your son, who actually came to work with me for a little bit, was your son,
Right.
I was like,
Exactly.
"What?
You was like,
That's your
wait a
son?
minute.
That looks like your
How
baby
old are
brother."
you? And I'm gonna tell you, right?
Go ahead.
So I went out to do a birthday party. What was it? 2019? No, 2020. Before we knew about COVID, and we went to do a birthday party, and I took him with me. And
Okay.
the party that was for, I had seen him before, and I'm like, I met you before somewhere. So he's like, yeah, you look familiar. So he was like, is this your boyfriend? He's talking about my son. I said, no, this is my son. So I said, wow. I'm like, I look that young to you? Really?
Well, you do have a young looking face. And I'm telling you that. So when I tell you what I'm saying, it's coming from the heart and it's genuine.
Right.
That when I talk to your sisters and your brother, I'm like, wow. I'm like, okay. So in any event, what I was tying that all in is that the other day you were out with your sister and she basically rushed to the phone, and because of some circumstances beyond your control, meaning mother intervened, and she said, "Lady Shireen, you will be a part of this occasion." Your sister actually asked me to videotape her wedding next year.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I
She
mean,
wants me to be in it. So
yeah,
I
and
said,
you're going to
well,
be in it. So,
she said, well, can you ask me if he's?
Yeah,
I said,
yeah, well.
sure.
Lady Shireen don't know. I'm be like, "Yo, come over here, take this video." You go, "I can't. I'm standing on the." I'm only messing with you. But the reality is, what I'm saying is that our universes just keep evolving like that,
Right.
and we keep
Absolutely.
like replicating and duplicating and just coming together
Right.
in synchrony with a lot of the things that we do, whether it's your family member, my family member. And one of the things that we definitely want people to know is that it's all right to do that.
Absolutely.
It's all right to do that,
Yeah.
because there's going to come a time where I might need a photographer, and I'm like, "Lady Shireen, I need you to come in."
Right.
And that might be the time that you need a DJ.
DJ.
Even
Right.
though that's going to be kind of a hard little squeeze right there, because
you know what?
we're going to be bringing in the Go ahead, Lady Shireen.
But
Tell
no, you know what's so funny?
Go ahead.
Before I do, hi, if anybody's watching on Facebook, how you doing, guys?
How y'all doing out there?
YouTube, Instagram, thank you for tuning in. It's just me and Brian tonight, so, we just chatting it up. We just, talking and
All
giving
right.
you guys some information, so we're just enjoying it
So
here.
if they are out there and if they are listening, give them share with your friends the links that we have. If you're on one of our links, let them know, because we are looking for people to subscribe to our channel.
Yes, so our YouTube channel, Donnie, I believe he said it's 4E's Podcast 123. And then, of course, you see us on Facebook. We're actually going to transition to our Facebook group page or our 4E Podcast page. So we're going to be doing that, soon. We'll let you guys know. And we have a website on Wix, which is it's 4espodcast.com. And Donnie or someone, they could put it in the chat. So if you want to send us a message through a comment, please share, tell people about us and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
What was I about to say?
And I don't know, but I can tell you this, that we are doing everything in our power to bring you the utmost in quality.
Yeah.
And what people talk about when they talk to me about what they like about our podcast is they love the interaction that Lady Shireen and I have.
That's awesome.
But they also love the fact that our audio is good.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they also love that the fact is that our videos are good.
All right, video.
The quality. So we're doing everything in our part. Now we need you to help us on your part to join us and to join in and subscribe to us and to help us continue this journey And while we're talking about that, we have two individuals in the background that have been helping us immensely in reference to growing this podcast.
Right.
So we actually have,
We have Donnie.
and we have Marquise.
Yeah.
So how y'all doing out there,
We
Donnie and Marquise?
appreciate
Y'all
that.
feeling good out there behind the camera? We got Marquise actually working the controller today. They switch, and we have Donnie working the cameras today, making sure that everything is right. But jointly together, they're just another part of that glue
Yeah.
that helps this 4E podcast come
Absolutely.
about. And we are actually in Lady Shireen's studio right here in North Plainfield, and we're doing our thing. We coming live to you guys right now. So if you guys want to put a comment up on Facebook, if you want to contact us through Instagram, if you want to just plug away and let us know that you're out there, please do that, and we'll give you a shout out. You know,
Right.
some of our former individuals that we actually had that we didn't even know we knew that she knew us.
Right,
and-
right. But
yeah.
it's one big circle.
Yeah, so
Like I tell people all the time, you never know who.
that's right.
So you gotta always treat people right.
Right.
Because you never know who's related to who. You never know who's friends with who.
Right.
It's a small world.
It's-
It's real small.
It's definitely
So,
a small
yeah,
world.
it's a small world.
So with the holiday,
I know what it was. that
there
I
you
was
go.
saying.
Oh, Lady Shireen, she's
There
coming
it
back.
is.
Here you go.
So,
Go ahead.
it was, it's funny because, yes, Joe was a DJ, and because I'm in my sister's wedding, I won't be able to do the video or the photography. At first, she was like, yeah, and then she was like, nope, I want you to be in it. So I'm like, Kanisha, really? But I said, okay. So the thing that's so crazy is, she was like, okay. So it's like, well, see if, Brian could do it or whatever. So I said, okay. And then I said, well, what about DJ? And I said, well, Brian could DJ. I said, but he can't DJ, do the video and the photography too. So that was just funny that,
Yeah.
you made that comment.
Well,
so.
we can always.
Just had
I know
to
Joe
point back.
has people in his camp that's
Yeah,
gonna probably be
absolutely.
able to handle it.
Yeah.
But we always got DJ Cool V on the side. So if he ain't booked, then if they're ready to go, they
You
go
heard that,
way.
Joe? I don't know if you're watching, because
Yeah.
I literally can't see if anyone's watching. I can't. I have Facebook open, but for some reason it looked like they changed it, and I don't see nobody on it. So I don't know. I mean, I see that 5 people are watching, but I can't see a name.
Yeah.
I can't see if there's any comments, so I don't know.
But those 5
Maybe
people
I'll
out there,
try to-
how y'all feel out there? All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Joe, if you are listening, you know what? There we go. Okay, so I refreshed it. So Tanya, hello, Tanya.
What's up,
hey,
Tanya?
Rayvon, Tisha, hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in. But Joe, if you're listening or if you catch this, on the rewind, Cool V. So, and you actually called in when Cool V was here. So that would be hot if Cool V could do your wedding. Like, that would be hot.
Yeah, that would be
Literally.
like literally off the chain hot.
That'd be hot.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
Joe, if you're listening, let Brian know.
Yeah, and I'll put a plug in his ear. But let's go back a little bit in time. We actually had our professor on,
Yes, Professor Benjamin.
Professor Benjamin, and here we go again, another common story. Long behold, when Shireen was writing her book, Professor Benjamin, who is now retired, was actually helping her in putting the book together.
Yes.
And one day we just had a conversation. I don't even know where the conversation came from, and I'd be like, Terry Benjamin? She's
You
like,
got
yeah.
my book. You got
gave
my
me the book, and I opened it up. I said, Terry
Right,
Benjamin.
you read his name, you opened it up, and you called me, and you said, how do you know him? And, I was able to reconnect them together. So that was
Yeah, I mean, and I hadn't talked to Terry in God knows how long, but when he came back on, we actually asked him, between Lady Shireen and myself, I think you actually asked him, could he come on our podcast? He said, sure. So he came on and he talked about a lot of the things, and he was probably like our second guest, or I think.
second, third, or fourth.
Yeah, and he came on and he shared his time with us. We
Very
actually
helpful.
had, and he the stories that he told and the connections that he had with you and the connections he had with me, it was just like, wow. So that who you don't know, you may know what you know, that you
Exactly.
know, and who you
never
know and don't
who
know.
knows who,
So,
I'm telling you.
so it's all funny.
Right.
So in addition to that, we had a doctor on, or Dr. Gorm, who actually is doing what he said he was going to do. He's selling his house. So, but he came on and he talked about COVID, and he talked about taking the shot versus the individuals that don't take the shots. He also talked about being a professional, being an entrepreneur, being a doctor, and that was a phenomenal show.
That was a phenomenal show.
And he came right here into the studio.
Yeah, he loved it. And, I guess, it's just a beautiful atmosphere, because most of the people that we invite, unless they're just really busy, they don't want to leave.
No.
So we literally, just...
We'd be like, this is an hour set.
After the cameras are off and we're done on live, we're literally still here because people don't want to leave. So that's a good thing,
It is. We actually had a candidate that was running for mayor for the city of Plainfield come on.
Yes.
We
did. And he was always able to ask him some questions. And, he's from Plainfield, born and raised. So that was awesome to talk to him.
So and then we had a musician that came on. And he played the keyboard. That was when we were learning different things about connecting. This is what you do when you go on a podcast. You got to learn technology.
Right.
And what you don't know, you got to kind of figure it out.
Yeah, on the fly.
On the fly. So we up here jamming and he playing his keyboard. And we like, yeah, we having a good old time. Come to find out that the people out there on Facebook wasn't connecting audio. Yeah. They could see us.
I think it was off of a single phone that wasn't connected to OBS.
Oh, okay.
So that's what it was. Yeah.
So that's what it was. Yeah. So some people did get connected. Actually, they did get the audio correction, but some of the individuals that we were trying to get through the phone recording that we were doing, they couldn't hear it. They was like, "Oh, it's an awesome show, but what are y'all saying?" That was that. But that was a good show because it was the first time that we actually connected live video with live sound, where it was an actual musician that actually performed. So if you're a musician and you're out there and you want to come on our podcast,
come on down. Call us. That's right.
And you can go to our webpage and you can actually go to the webpage and you can actually book on our webpage. We have a booking. Thanks to Lady Shireen, we have a booking location where you can go on there and just say, listen, I saw your podcast. I want to come on. I want to talk about this or talk about that. Yeah. And you can come on and join us and just have a great time with us.
Have some fun.
Yeah, we have fun. We actually have given away tickets to go to Marine World. What is
Sequest,
which is located in Woodbridge, New Jersey. And I was wondering if that individual actually had a chance to go. But I'll guess we get an answer and he can report out to us. Not. Probably not report out to us since he did get the tickets and everything. We didn't hear nothing yet. So we don't know if he went or not, right? Yeah.
So I don't know if we went or not.
Yeah. So Taz has been working in the background with Joe. In reference to helping us with our logo. So I want to give a shout out to them if they're listening. Y'all, y'all got nothing but hands up from us and nothing but enough respect. Yeah. So hopefully they're listening and they're working in the background trying to help us get it together and pull all of our resources together, because you never know who you're going to need and who you're going to use. And sometimes you just got to do something to get something. And sometimes people just do things like, random act of kindness. Right. We did some random act of kindness. Do you remember what we did with the random act of kindness with the trumpets?
Sure. We gave trumpets to 2 young men.
Yeah.
And, working in the background.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to hear, when they're going to come on and bless us with that duet.
That duet they're supposed to do, yeah.
Yeah, one of them asked me about what I'm supposed to be doing and when I was going to do something. And I'm asking him, when is he going to do what he going to do? Because there's a song that's supposed to be written, and, but...
opening song.
The opening song. We're still waiting on that guy. No, not you. Me. It's coming from me. It's supposed to be coming from me. Because I'm on my keyboard kick now. I'm on my keyboard kick. Okay. Which means that the keyboard can't get dust on it, even though it has some dust on it, because I have not been practicing. Okay. So I got to really get back on to practicing my keyboard so I can actually write something that might be able to withstand the test of time. Yeah. So we have also invited a lot of guests on that actually haven't shown up yet, but I'm pretty sure they're coming to us in the very near future. But I can tell you that this has been a phenomenal ride. I mean, when we first came here, we probably had 2 lights and 1 camera.
Right.
No, we didn't have 2 lights and 1 camera. I'm just messing with you guys out there. But we didn't have what we have today. And a lot of this stuff is just because of the vision that we share,
Yeah, exactly. You
that we
and
want to bring this.
Brian's vision was bigger than mine for the podcast, you know,
Yeah.
because my mind was somewhere totally different, you know, and, you know, which, you know, wasn't against it, you know, because I'm like, yeah, let's do it, you know, but, you know, at the time, you know, we were talking about, as far as a group, you know, family or, you know, a friend, we were going to do a talk show. So that's what we were thinking about, you know, but we had put that aside because of COVID, because we don't want to just do a regular talk show. We want to have an audience in our talk show.
Yeah.
know.
You're
So
going to get
it's
there.
coming. Yeah, it's coming.
Donnie has something he wants to say.
It's definitely coming.
What's up, Donnie?
Lady said her daughter sings.
Her daughter sings? What lady?
On Instagram. Tremaine, something like that.
Hi,
Okay.
Tremaine.
right.
Okay, so
Go to our 4E podcast.
you
Give
go
it
to
the website.
4E Podcast. You can also send us a message right there on Instagram. So message us there and send us the information. We'll reach out to you.
Yeah, we'll reach out to
We'll
you.
reach out to you.
And actually, letting the cat out the bag. Meow. We're supposed to be thinking about doing something competition-wise. Maybe where we have talent come on, and I'll take some of my dough, and we'll get some other sponsors to come up here and put some money together, and we'll have we're talking. We're already in the infancy stages of talking about a battle of the bands. So if you have a band out there and your band is good, don't just have a guitar player. We're going to want the full entree. We're going to want the drummer. We're going to want the guitar. We're going to want the brass section, if you want to bring that, you know, and the keyboard, and then a vocalist or several vocalists
Okay, all right.
that can
Listen,
come
Battle
out.
of the Bands,
And
come
we
on,
already
yeah.
got a site. They already agreed to it. We're not going to
wow,
let that
okay.
site go, but they already agreed to do that. So when we start putting this out there in the public, and you want to come out there and you want to be on, you got to be on to get down. And then we're going to offer some substantial money. I'm not going to tell you the amount right now. And if you win, then we're going to do everything on our power to promote you and help you get to the next level
there
in
you
life.
go.
But
Listen.
it's going to be a teenager
Musicians
type
for
of thing.
more.
It's not going to be for those people in their 50s and 60s. It ain't going to be for those guys. It's going to be for somebody between ages probably 13 and high school age, 13 and
high
19,
school
13,
age.
you know. And we're going to have the
Let's
Battle
do
of the
Battle of the
Bands.
Bands.
And it's
Let's
going to be
go.
broadcast live through our podcast. And we're going to have a voting audience.
What if they 13 but they still can play drums real good?
Okay.
You know, if they under the age limit, we don't have a problem with that. They just can't be over the age limit, because we don't want to bring in individuals that are not. This is amateur night.
So it's over the age limit?
Anything
Amateur
under
night,
18 will be able to be in. You know, we're not going to stop
Under
it.
18.
Under 18.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're like 22 and 28, you're not going to be able to be in this competition.
Okay. So
All right,
18
and we'll
down.
figure out the routines on how we're going to
Absolutely.
figure
Okay.
out who's in it.
Yes.
But that is one of the things that I definitely want to see to come to fruition, and I've been working on that in my head for a long time. It's
For
like
a
the
while.
podcast. I was working on it in my head for a long time.
Right.
But now that we are in the podcast and we're doing what we're doing, we got to bring other flavor in here in order to keep it interesting.
Right,
And to keep it
absolutely.
interesting keeps you engaged.
That's
and
right.
to keep you
Yeah.
engaged means that you got to spread the word.
That's it. Spread
You
the
see, I
word
keep plugging that
and
away.
Come on,
And
you
come
know,
on and talk.
come and hang out with us.
And come hang out with us.
You know.
We are local in New Jersey. If you have something that is interesting enough for us and you give us enough time and it's not weather prohibited, then Lady Shreen and I could actually bring our studio to you.
Absolutely.
But the
So
reality is most
we
of the
come to
people,
you.
most of the people we're going to want to
Something
come
like-
here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And it's summertime, so I mean, come on, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So,
I
and
like being out in the cold, so I don't know.
you don't like being out in the
I
cold.
don't like being out in the cold.
You heard that. She doesn't like to be out in the cold.
No,
so
no,
don't
no.
invite her out in the cold in the middle of the winter with snow on the ground, ice on the street, because Lady Shreen is not going to probably be too happy when she gets there.
No, I
But
don't
I'm
like
going to do everything in my power to just encourage us to just keep growing. So, and while we have this beautiful weather, this is an opportunity for you to go up on the podcast and put your name in there. And, you know, we have a world-renowned artist that already agreed that he's going to come on. and that's going to be in the beginning of August. We're not going to give you his name right now, but as we get closer to the date and we confirm and solidify everything, we'll definitely let you guys know.
Yeah.
And he said he's
We'll
not
let you
going to
know.
sing any of his songs, but he's going to talk about the experience of what it means to be. And then we also have another person that already agreed to come on about doing breast cancer, which is
Yeah, I think you told me.
August.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's a male, so which is very different because most men don't think that they could get breast cancer.
Wow. And you sure it's breast cancer?
He's a breast cancer survivor.
Okay.
Now, I mean,
That's different.
yeah, that's what he told me, and if he told me it's so, it must be so because he was and has been and
Okay.
has been a community activist, and he's definitely going to share in that with us. And then I believe you have two individuals that are supposed to be coming on, a couple and a married couple
Yes,
that said
absolutely.
they're going to come on the podcast and bless us with their presence. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're bringing you the pain. We're bringing you the phone. You have a phone
That's
number.
right. We're
And what about that number?
trying to get it in.
You trying to get that number in?
That's the podcast. phone
Oh,
number.
the podcast phone number, but we can't use that now because the podcast phone number is recording our Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
But you put it in the comments too.
No, just send us an email. Just send us the email and we'll get back to you. We do have a cell phone that's dedicated to the podcast, but we're not going to give that number out today because that podcast phone is being used right now to record our Instagram. So in the future, we'll definitely figure that out. Oh, and then we had Dr. Whitaker come on.
Yes, Dr. Whitaker.
And
He's in
man, was that a
California.
phenomenal. Now, that was
That
a
was
first
good.
for us, too. What did we do on that podcast?
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, that
It was fun and
it
technically
was through
challenging.
Zoom. You know, that was our first guest through Zoom. And, you know, it's funny because, you know, we told people, you know, if you don't want to, you know, we understand you don't have to come in. So we could do Zoom. Everybody's like, no, I don't want to do Zoom. I want to be on Zoom. So, but he was our only one and first one.
But he was in
he
California.
was in California, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
and he made time out of his busy schedule.
Yes.
Dr. Whitaker, he came on. He's a doctor of education,
Right.
and he teaches out in California.
Yeah.
And he came on our podcast.
So, you know, speaking of doctors, I have two doctors that I want to invite, and they're actually married. So,
Okay.
you know, I did tell them, you know, that I want them to come on. So I got to get a date from them and have them on. So I think that'll be a fun one, too.
Yeah,
That's going to be a fun show.
You know what I love about this is our camaraderie. I love our interaction. I love the fact that we just communicate and just go over so well in reference to reaching out there. And
Right.
I think that comes from just our years of experience of working with each other. You know, at one point you actually worked for me, so but
Yeah, he was my boss, so.
yeah, but
went
I
from a
don't
boss to
think
being a partner.
no, but see here goes the reality.
co-host,
Now
however
I'm going to ask you to do some reflection. Was I really a boss, or was I more of a person that just had you come in? You was on payroll, but I didn't treat you like, you know, like I'm the boss and you're the worker. I didn't treat you like that. Have I ever done it?
Let me think.
I'm giving you a chance to give me some positive
Think.
affirmations,
No, I mean it was a good experience. I
Yeah,
mean because
and that's why we gel so
I mean, you
well.
know what? It was a chill situation
Yeah.
because I literally worked inside. I worked out of Brian's home in
Yeah.
his office. You know,
Yeah, I have an office space set
he has an
aside.
office space at home.
And the thing that I could do is I could leave Shireen there. I could be on vacation. I'm like,
Right.
Shireen, I'm going on vacation. I think I was going to France that time. And I'm like, I'm not going to be
Somewhere.
there, but my brother will let you in. Are you all right with that? He's like, sure, Brian. I'm like, well, let's keep sending those bills because I got to pay people. And
Right.
you worked it out.
So, you know, that's the type of person I am. You know, he was
Yeah.
able to leave me literally. Most of the time, I was in there by myself, you
Yeah.
know. So I'm in his house by myself.
Yeah.
You know, because his wife was at work. And there were some days where she was off, you know, and she would be there. But, you know, we would speak in the morning or whatever. But, you know, she didn't, you know, micromanage me. You know, she would go on and do what she had to do. You know, we would have conversations from time to time. But for the most part, I was literally there by myself.
Yeah. So, Lady Shireen, you got some things coming up. I know that I'm planning a trip in October. My boy went and bought tickets to go see the Rams
Okay.
play the Detroit Lions. So I'm going to be out sometime in the latter part of October. I think
sounds
that's like
fun.
the 27th, 28th. And then you actually are planning to go away. So we got to figure this out. You getting ready to go away on a family vacation, I think?
Yeah, we're trying. We're looking in, August. We're looking to do that.
Okay.
We have some dates mapped out, but I hate dilemmas, because according to my calculations, I was told one date for a engagement party
Okay.
dinner.
Okay.
And so I might have to cut it a little, like a day early short, so I can
Wow.
come back and do that, and also a wedding. So, yeah,
Yeah,
But then
well-
I might be going away again in September for, So I'm doing
Multiple.
my kids' side family vacation, then come back and do my family vacation. And it's definitely due. I need a vacation. I've been
Yeah,
running
well,
like crazy.
I think there's always that old saying, that cliche, that you work to live or do you live to work? And you got to kind of just find that balance out, because if you don't ever take time out, we're only here but for an infinite amount of
That's
time.
it.
We're not a finite amount
Right.
of time, not
Exactly.
infinite, a
Exactly.
finite amount of time. And while we're here, we have to enjoy what we can enjoy.
That's right.
Because when we're gone, you ain't going to be like here back on earth. You're going to be somewhere else.
That's
You know what I'm saying? So while you're here, you might as well
Enjoy it.
enjoy,
That's
enjoy
right,
it.
yeah.
Take some of that time and that sacrifice and that money that you made,
Yep.
and go out and just kind of venture to see what else the world has to offer. Because sometimes I think we get stuck in the rut of just trying to do the same thing over and over and over again and thinking that it's going to change. Things change, but they don't just drastically change. I mean, it's not like you're going to go out and hit the lottery, and if you do, then things will drastically change.
Right.
And you probably won't be doing this podcast with me. You'll be like, I'm going to do my talk show by myself. What would you say?
Well, I don't
Get
gamble,
that what?
but
Get that
if
Range
I wasn't
Rover.
that part, I probably wouldn't.
See,
But-
I said that $1 million. Did I say that you? Did I say hit the lottery? Okay,
Yeah.
let me stand it correct.
Yeah.
You may get $1 million from somewhere
there
and
you
get that
go.
Range Rover
Well, you
and
know
decide.
what? Now, what I will say is,
Go ahead.
now if I write, okay,
Yep.
that movie
Speak it into existence
that
now.
will bring me that,
Speak it into existence now.
then yes, I will have that. And
What, your Range
I am
Rover?
writing something. No,
What?
the money,
Oh, the $1 million.
the millions. So
And then you have the Range Rover.
right? Exactly.
Okay.
So I am writing some pieces now. So like I said, I'm gonna send them off, and if listen, it's coming.
I just want to let you know, Lady Shreen,
Coming.
I'll be your chauffeur. I'll ride around and take you from places to place. I'm just gonna ask for when you get that $1 million that you remember me.
You know that. That goes without saying.
Right.
Anybody that know me, they know me.
I think that if you pray on it and you speak to it, that whatever you
Listen
wish,
to Brian.
it can happen. No.
Yeah.
Listen,
You're right.
the reality is the reality. If you want something bad enough and you put it into the universe, you're going to start attracting things to you that are going to help you.
Right.
Now, here goes the catch. I got to put this caveat in front of that.
Okay.
You can speak to it and want it and not do the work to get it.
Gotcha. Okay.
And what did they say?
Got to do that work.
Work without deeds or deeds without work leads to inaction. You got to put in. I'm doing things that I never thought I would do. And I'm taking on challenges that I never thought I would
That's
take
true,
on.
man.
Why do I do that? Because I know the podcast is an evolution of me not wanting to physically be able to do all the things that I physically am committed to. Because listen, with my hands, I'm good. I can do things. I can do things. I can be a landscaper. I can be a planner. I can do things with my hands. I could physically take something and build it. There's no problem with that. I could build a patio for you. I could build a raised deck for you. I can put in sliding glass doors. I can put in windows. I can do all that stuff.
Okay.
You know?
So
but
we
I
need
want to
some
get to the
sets.
point. I want to get to the point, and I
already
told you that.
got
about
a
it.
team, so
Yeah.
you know.
I'm
building
on.
my sets.
I'm on.
Absolutely.
I'm on the team.
Yeah.
I want to start using this, and
Yeah,
being
yeah.
able to do that through the podcast. I want to be able to do that through the podcast,
Okay.
so that I can create mental
Right.
earnings
Right.
as opposed to physical earnings.
Right.
And what kind of a better tie-in that you can physically be present and you can mentally be present,
Exactly.
and you can tie those things in so that you can financially benefit.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's it. You know, I know when I worked at the police department, you know, a lot of them, you know, they would say, hey, listen, you know, if you work hard, you play hard. You know, so I got that, you know, from them, you know. And so I'm like, you know what? You know, and I didn't make as much as they did, but I'm like, you know what? That's true.
And a lot of
Working
those,
hard, it's time to play hard.
police officers, because we know at least one
Yeah.
had another business on the side. He
Yeah,
was
a
doing
lot of them-
photography.
Yeah, a lot of them do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Gene.
Hey,
Give her a
Gene.
shout out.
Yeah, Gene. we got to get you back that backdrop.
hold
We ain't
on.
forget you.
Gene is bad.
Gene is bad.
He's a bad photographer.
Yeah.
Oh my God, like he's bad. So
Yeah. He's done some things when I used to work at the former employer, Job Corps, and he was coming in. I remember when Gene just had one little printer and 2 cameras. Next time I looked around, Gene had 4 cameras, 2 printers, had his girlfriend at the time working with him,
he's
setting up the thing, another person. I'm like, yo, man, you went from like just doing one thing to like next thing you know you got a multiple of things that you're doing, printing pictures, putting them on
awesome.
buttons, all kinds of stuff. I'm like, yo, how did you do this? But that's what I'm talking about.
yeah,
You got to
he's
speak it
awesome.
into
Oh my
existence.
God. Yeah,
You got to want it, and anything that you want within reason you can get as long as you put in the work.
Yeah.
Some people say to me, Brian, they look at me they're envious and they're like, how you got 3 trucks? I got 3 trucks because I busted my BU. If you fill in the blank, I did it. I took the time, the effort, and the energy.
Yeah.
You got the studio. It's not because somebody just came up to you one day and said, hey, Shireen, I got the studio. I'll give it to you for free. You'd be like, no, it didn't work that way. How did it go down, Shireen?
Wow.
How did it go down? Tell them how you got your studio.
So I know the reason why I say wow because that was kind of, you know, my dad actually worked for. He did a lot of construction,
Yep.
maybe
Yep.
painting wise, you know, just doing a lot of different things for the landlord. And you know, he was like, "Oh, you know, the landlord want me to take the downstairs, you know." And so I said, "Well, what are you gonna do with it?" He was like, "Well, I'm not because I'm trying to get the house, you know, paid off or whatever." So I said, So I said, well, you know, maybe I can use it. He said, what you gonna use it for? So the studio, he said, oh, that's right. So he's like, you wanna go look at it? I said, yep, let's go. He said, okay. He said, it's on 22. I said, yeah, come on, let's go. So he brought me that same night. We looked at it. He showed me the whole building, you know, because people live upstairs. And then there's a doctor office that's upstairs from me because I'm in the basement part. But at the time, you know, she literally don't even want to do the practice anymore. So, you know, so that's how I did that, you know, and he was like, you know, it's not much. And I'm like, how much? And he said, I said, oh, that's not much. So,
Yeah.
and I'm like, on 22? I said, yeah, come on, let's go. Let's
But-
do it.
but
so, yeah. I'm here.
You're saying that it just kind of fell into your lap. It didn't
Right.
kind of fall. You spoke it into existence. You knew what you wanted.
this
You
is
had
true.
direction.
Absolutely.
Listen, it's one thing to
Yeah.
work your business out of your car or out of your house. It's
Right.
another thing to set it up when you got a physical address.
It's true.
When you have a physical address where it's not designated as a residential, it's designated as a business professional,
Right, this is true.
people look at you a little differently.
Yeah.
Because when they come in your office, they're like, oh, you know. So, Lady O, if you listening out there, I know I was going to get back to it. Lady O, if you listening out there, you know we sending our love to you because you one of those common people that we each knew, that we didn't know that each one of us knew a little piece of you.
Right.
And one thing that Lady O used to always say to me when I was her supervisor up at Job Corps is, Mr. Cox, you're going to be a millionaire. Mr. Cox, you're going to be a millionaire. I'm like, Lady O, stop talking like that. But the bottom line is that if that's what I so want and that's what she saw in me,
Exactly.
then why
It's
don't I
coming.
receive it?
Exactly.
If I put a blessing on you and I tell you that you're going to be, if you say that you play football and I say, man, you got skills, because I seen you. You know, you got skills, more skills than I've seen anybody else.
Right.
And then you come back and tell me, man, I ain't that good. And I tell you, yo, keep working at it. And you keep working at it. You might not make it to the NFL, but
That's
maybe
right.
you'll make it to one of the arena football teams. Maybe you'll make it to the football team that plays locally in your town. The older guys, they play in those
It
leagues.
can happen
You know,
if you put your mind to it.
isn't that what pastors always say?
That's it.
Speak it into existence.
That's it.
Isn't that what they always say?
Speak it.
Isn't that what motivational speakers, when you listen to the motivational
Sure.
speakers and they say to people, listen, I'm going to teach you how to flip houses. And I'm going to teach you how to become independent where you don't spend your money, but you spend other people's money.
Sure.
And you
They
become
say
rich
that,
off of
yeah.
that. And then you can go on your elaborate vacations twice a year, 3 times a year. And people say, I can't ever do that. And then they end up doing it. And then you sit there and you look at those infomercials like, I remember when I was making $12 an hour and I was working for McDonald's.
Yep, that's it.
Or whatever store. Just use that as an example. And then you get out there and you say, man, I now don't have to work. I don't have to go in the office. I don't have to go into the store. I'm making this $350,000 on this one house flip that I did that cost me $30,000. I spent somebody else's money and I made $330,000, whatever.
do it.
But
When
it was
you
a vision.
Yeah, when you learn it, and like you said, those different conferences and stuff like that. Like if you go to business conferences, places where they have people that come in and they motivational speakers. That's what it is. They come in. I've been to a lot of them and I love them because, they give you things that people, that it's in your circle may not know. So when you go out there and get this information and you take it and you run with it, yeah, you definitely can open up, your mind set so wide.
But the funny thing is that they always used to say that the teacher will appear when the student is ready to learn.
Right.
Meaning, if you don't have it inside of your innate inner soul and you don't push that inner soul to deliver those things that you want to perpetuate,
This is true.
I tell people all the time, if you want a new car, go buy a new car.
That's it. Oh,
If you want a house, go buy a house. If you want an apartment, go get an
yeah,
apartment.
he'll definitely tell you that. He was
Yeah.
like, Trink, go get your new car. And I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I'm not ready yet.
Go get your new car.
I'm like, I'm so used to not having payments. He's like, go get your new car.
Yeah. Listen,
Brian
it's a
will definitely
sacrifice.
tell you, go get it. Go,
Go
do
get
it.
it. Go get it.
You got it.
If I want something, I know that we're getting ready to get to the end. If I want something and it's bad enough in my mind, I'm going to find it. Now, here we go. I'm going to give you one little secret that happened to me. A guy wanted a project done, and he didn't want to spend any money.
Wow.
He was a business owner, and he says to me, we could barter. I said, barter?
Yeah.
He says, yeah, we could barter. You bring your labor, and I'll buy the material, you bring your labor, and you do this for me. And in return, I'm going to give you a store credit where you could buy something from me. It's not going to show up, blah, 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 and it's not going to blah, blah, blah. You fill in the blanks. But at the end of the day, you're going to have delivered a
Right.
product to me,
Right.
and I'm going to give you a product.
Yeah. My dad does it all the time. So
No, he doesn't, Lady
yeah,
Shree.
he still does it actually.
Yeah.
No, seriously. Cars. He's gotten cars that way.
Wow.
He has gotten, a lot of stuff that way, literally.
So
furniture,
that goes back to
a
relationships.
lot of stuff. He has done that, and
Yeah.
it has worked.
It goes back to relationships.
It has worked.
Now, guys, it's at the end of the podcast.
It has worked.
We've been here for a little over an hour, and we have brought you nothing but love. We want you to, again, remember to subscribe to our page. So we're going to give you those subscriptions right now in reference to where you can go. Lady Shreen's going to run it down. It's the, go ahead.
So, the 4E's Podcast, 1, 2, 3. Then we are on Wix, which is our website, and that is 4epodcast.com. We are on Instagram, and we are on YouTube. And we will put all this in the comments as well. So if you watch it coming back, or if you've been on here and if you want to come back and get it, we'll have all the information on there.
And again, if you want to subscribe, no, we want you to subscribe. Not if. You watching us, subscribe. You want to come on
Like,
our podcast?
share, and
like-
send us some comments.
Yep.
Send us some
Like,
comments.
share, send us some comments. And if you want to come on the podcast because you have a hidden talent or you just want to talk about what you do and what you make, and whatever your product line is, we can help you promote that. And we're going to get to a point where we haven't monetized this yet, but we are going to monetize this sometime in the near future, because Shireen's time is valuable, my time is valuable, your time is valuable. We appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to watch us. But one of the things that we like most about the opportunity to come on here is to share knowledge.
Right.
And I think we do well with that, Shireen. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too.
Right.
Yeah. With the little bit of time that we, give ourselves to come up here, and I mean, either way, whether it's just Brian and I, or when we have guests, we come try to make sure that they know, to give some good nuggets, to the listening audience, and that they can learn something, or they can, get a product, they can get a service. And just spread the word. Like, for instance, I had a phone call today. Yeah. And it's someone that, I'm doing some work for. And I brought to her, after she learned some things about me, she's like, wow, and so she saw a screening that I helped with, a documentary that I helped with. And she was like, wow, this was really, really good. So she said that she watched the podcast. I asked her, I actually invited her to come to Ruga's that day, but she couldn't come. So she called me today. She said, she's like, I watched it. It was awesome. And she was like, she said, I've never been to Ruga's. She said, I never even heard of it. She said, I'm going to try it. I'm going to go. And I said, well, see, that's it. That's the key. What we're doing. She said, I would love to come on. I said, not a problem. We'll set up something. So that's what it's about. Even if it's just one person, that's one person, more than what, was there or who knew. So, it takes a one, and then we can go on from there.
So, again, I think we began the podcast with you opening it up to the audience, and I shared that I had a loss of a dear friend. So I just I'm not going to ask for a moment of silence anymore. Anybody that knew Albert Hendricks, also known as Winky, I want y'all to just pray for his family and pour into them. If you know them personally, do what you need to do in order to get them blessings over to the family, because, when someone dies, they're gone. That's it. We don't have a chance to retrieve them. Right. The only thing that we live is they live in our memories, and they live in our heart, and they live in our souls, But the ones that are here, that are still living, if you know them and you love them and you appreciate them, just check in, make sure Lynn's all right, make sure Mahogany's all right, make sure Chris is all right. Just make sure that the whole family is good, man, because they're good people. And he was a dear friend of mine. So with that being stated, Lady Shireen, won't you take us on out of here?
All right. So thank you again for anyone who watched. If you were on Instagram, we actually, next time we'll see if we can have it up. As I don't know who was watching on Instagram, but thank you so much for watching us. If you have a message, just message us. Whether it's YouTube, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Wix, just send us a message, and we will definitely get back to you.
Sure, you're right. Connie, I just want to say, Connie, I didn't forget you. I know you're also Winky's daughter, so Connie, also a little bit of love out there to you. And all of his great nephews and nieces and grandkids and great-grandkids and all of that. So, y'all, this is what I want to say to you before I leave, Shireen, and you are going to close it, because I always want you to have the first word and the last word, because you're just so dynamic. Oh, wow. Listen, I want y'all to tell somebody in your family that you love dearly and may not have been able to tell them that you love them or that you appreciate them. I want you to just do me a favor, pick up that phone call, or even better yet, go by their house and just tell them, if they're local enough, that you love them. If they're not local enough, then go by and send them an email, do Facebook, do a chat with them, just to let them know, because we never know when our days are numbered and when it's gonna be our turn. But one thing I do know,
surprising with something.
One thing I do know,
me, I love surprise.
Is that while I'm here, I'm gonna love on those people that I love. I'm gonna love on Shireen because Shireen loves on me. I'm gonna love on those out there in the audience because they love on me. I'm gonna love on my brothers, my sisters. I'm gonna love on my aunts, my nephews, my grandbaby, my grandbabies, and all that, and my wife, obviously, I'm gonna love
Absolutely.
because the love that you give will come back to you. It's like
Definitely
sowing
come
that
back to
seed.
you. Yeah.
So, Lady Shireen, it's on you. What you gonna do?
All right. So good night. Thank you again for watching us, and connect with us. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know how we're not doing. Let you listen. Y'all know I don't mind being transparent. So just let us know. We want the critiques. We love the critiques. So send us that. And good night, everybody. Thank you for watching. The
Peace out.
4E's podcast.